Coming up on the program, we're in the garden today and we're going to do some intercropping. And we're planting peas. Is it too early? It might be, and I might be a little crazy. That's all up for debate. But I'll show you some of the tricks that will allow us to get an early start on peas. All that and a whole lot more coming up today on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is sponsored in part by, for all your non-GMO, heirloom, organic, vegetable, flowers, and herb seeds, visit dollarseed.com. Sioux Growing Supply, located in Wausau, Wisconsin, focusing on certified leaf compost, an excellent amendment for poor soil. With their new garden blend, improving soil structure in clay and sandy soil, great for creating new garden beds. Also available from Sioux's, pre-filled trays and pots with professional potting soil mix or organic rice hull-based potting soil mix. Bag and bulk of certified leaf compost also available. Visit SiouxGrowingSupply.com. Don't poison your soil with municipal water. Attach a body, mind, and soil hose and filter. Free shipping exclusively through the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Just click on the body, mind, and soil icon. Authentic Haven brand soil conditioner for the home gardener. Easy to brew, 100% organic. Visit ManureTea.com. Rain Reserve. Reserving your rain, preserving our future. Rain Reserve, manufacturing of rainwater capturing capabilities. Visit rainreserve.com and use coupon code RAIN2016 to save 10% on your total purchase. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joey Baird. We're in the garden today and we're going to take advantage of the warm weather and do a little intercropping. Now, intercropping is a term used where you're planting a fast-growing plant in amongst slower growing plants. And this is simply, it can be a variety of different things, and you can do research to figure out maybe if you're going to benefit from planting certain crops with other crops. We're going to take a look here at one of our garlic patches here. We've got 3 different varieties, a total of 75 cloves in this bed and a bed across the garden. What we're going to do is we're going to take radishes and plant among the garlic here. We got a question on the website, and you can send us a question with your gardening problem or ask us for a suggestion, and you can go find that at the website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the red button, and you can ask us any garden related question. We'll find you the answer, or if you want to leave us an audible voicemail, you can do that there as well. But the question came through from a lady who has garlic and wanted to know if she could plant lettuce among the garlic, and you certainly can. You can plant a variety of different things in among the garlic. You want to keep in mind that in about 35 to 60 days, this garlic is going to be going to really pick up on growth and going to shade out anything that would be underneath it. Lettuce would be a good plant to put in there because it is a partial shade loving plant and will do quite well. We're going to do radishes because it's a very quick growing plant of 18 to 33 days based on your variety. Now, this does not look like radish seeds. This is radish pods. This is what we harvested last year from the radishes. If you allow radishes to go to flower, these pods will appear and they'll have seeds in them. You can eat the pods at the time that they're green on the plant and they taste just like the radish bulbs, or you can let them dry on the plant and you can harvest the seeds like we have here. Now, you can leave them in the pod like this. You open it up and you got a bunch of seeds there. If you want to really be tedious about it, you can close this bag up and work the bag and crush the seeds and put them through a screen of a size that's appropriate for it, so you can get rid of the chaff and keep the seeds. So if that's something you want to do, but this works quite well for us. Now, all we're going to do here, and it's based on, I have no idea, it's just a red champion radish, I believe, but we'll take and we'll just pop one of these open and I'll show you what we got in there. You can see there's 3, there's 4, a couple of 5 seeds in there of good size. So Oh, we got 4 seeds there. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to plant radishes just like you would anything else. Now, radishes require a soil temperature of 40 degrees to germinate. You want to keep it in the cool weather. You can't grow radishes during the summer. They'll immediately go to bolt or put flowers on it and begin to seed. So what we'll do here is I'm just going to, instead of trying to go long ways and step on the bed that I'm trying to prevent compaction from, we're just going to go across the bed, and it doesn't have to be of any great depth. I really want to be about a 1/4 inch under the soil here. Worked real well. This was one bed that we did not cover. A lot of the beds we have on the property here we've covered in leaves very thickly. Garlic we have not covered for the last couple of years and had phenomenal success with it. But one thing we would recommend, that if you can cover your beds, it helps protect the soil over the winter months. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, you want to space these, I'd say 2 to 3 inches is kind of where you're wanting to go with this. Now you don't have to wait for these to bulb up if you don't want to. You can harvest them as they come up and eat them as microgreens. So I'm just going to come in here and just break these pods open and just plant these just like this, and then we'll come back and we'll cover them up. Okay, so we got the radishes planted. You can see the crisscross that I did between some of the garlic, and then I went a long ways here. I'm going to cover them up. Now, one thing that you want to really try to work at or avoid is planting radishes or any root crop in very rocky soil. They don't like that. It will affect their bulb growth, and you'll get really funky radishes. I've even seen them where they've grown around a rock and incorporated the rock into the actual bulb itself. So you want to try to keep that in mind. Now I'm just going to gently go over top and cover these. Now I didn't space these, every 2. I just took the husk here, just broke it up, and just like pinched it across the row. So I'll have to come back here and do some thinning, but it's nothing of any great task. It's very easy to do. And we want to keep these moist. And again, you can plant a variety of things in amongst your garlic and other crops. Just with the garlic, keep in mind that it's going to grow up and it's going to shade out. So you wouldn't want to put like cabbage in this or kale, but lettuce, radishes, arugula would be very good candidates for this type of application. So when it comes to prepping the garden for spring, you want to reflect on things that happened last year. And one of the things that happens to us many times is right at that end of the year, winter comes and we've got one more day to get as much done in the garden as we can. Sometimes we don't harvest everything. Here's one example here is these leeks. Now, these leeks don't look like leeks you would think they should look like. What has happened was we had a lot of snow, a lot of ice. They got covered. Rabbits came in because the elevation of the snow allowed them to jump over the fence, and they saw this green vegetation. So they went ahead and ate down a lot of the top growth on these. Now, there's nothing wrong with what we've got sitting here. If we allow these to be left alone, they will put a giant scape on it and flower, and they'll produce thousands upon thousands of seeds, which is fine if you're wanting to save seeds and you don't have any. Well, we have quite a few leek seeds. Leek seeds are good for 1 to 2 years viability based on how you store them. Well, what we're going to do here, and what we have been doing, is just harvesting these, and they're totally edible. And this is a smaller version here. What we'll do is we'll come in and cut the root off and just peel back some of that outer skin, and the bottom portion that should be bleached is somewhat green, but it's very edible in stir fries, salads, even baking it. So just because they're sitting here, that doesn't mean it's time to just rip them out and start over. There is life, there is edible portions left on this. Now, in some countries, in the United States, we mainly just we eat, or we're told to eat, or have been taught to eat just the white bleached portion at the bottom. Some countries utilize the whole plant and eat the whole portion of the leek. So Just because you got some of these sitting in your garden doesn't mean it's compost time. You can certainly dig them up and eat them for an early spring harvest. So we're going to plant some peas on the back side of the garden. Peas are a cool weather crop that grows very, very well when temperatures stay below 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it's very early in the season here, and you're thinking, well, it's too early. Well, you want your soil temperature to be 40 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit minimum temperature for peas to germinate. They'll take a little bit longer, but they will germinate. Now, once they emerge, they can handle a snowfall. We've seen pictures of peas coming out of the garden with snow on. Now, if the temperatures drop in the teens, you might as well buy more seeds because you're going to have to replant them. They can't handle that. But they can handle cold. Now, what we've done here, and there's a couple of ways if you're going to start them very early, even earlier than we are, when the soil temperature is far below 40 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit, there's some ways you can do that, and I'll explain that in a minute. Our soil temperature is 45 degrees at 6 inches down and 51 degrees at 2 inches down. Now we're wanting to plant the peas at about a ½ inch and every 2 inches. We've got this bed here that we have leveled off, and that's the reason why I've disturbed the soil, because we had some very lumpy soil, I guess, hills and valleys in this. I wanted to get this level. Now I'm using a leaf rake, and it works very well for this because it will allow me to get like that. It'll pull some of these weeds out of here, and it'll level things off very nicely rather than a metal hard tine rake that can actually gouge in and take big chunks out. So I'm going to take that, throw that to the compost. Now the leaves that you see over here, and I've got some over there, once we get this planted, we're going to cover this back up and kind of insulate it somewhat. Now, if you're going to plant these very early, people will say you can start these indoors in peat pots, biodegradable pots, and then you can just put them back, then put them in the soil when the soil temperature is safe to plant. It's a lot of hassle, it's a lot of pain to try to keep things lighted and water and all that. One way that you can go about doing this is making a hoop tunnel or a dome over it with some 4 or 6 mil plastic. It is not absolutely see-through, but it will allow adequate sunlight through it to keep the seeds happy and healthy and growing, as well as keeping it warm. Now, if you do such this, you can make hoops and tighten it down and make sure there's no places where cold air can seep up underneath the edges. If you do this, you want to be aware of what the ambient temperature is. True enough, the ambient temperature may be, pick a number, 45 degrees Fahrenheit, but in that grow tunnel on a very hot day, it could get 80, 90, 100 degrees, and you can fry your seedlings before they even germinate. So you want to be conscious of that and cautious of that, and vent the tunnel at times when it's needed. You could also put a remote thermometer in there if you really want to get high tech, and you can see how the temperature is being affected inside the tunnel, and then you can make the educated guess whether or not you feel you need to vent the tunnel or not. Now, another way you could do this, just to get the seedlings up, if you're really on the border of, I need another week before I really should plant, you could just take this plastic, plant the seeds, and just cover the bed like this, and just put rocks down, and just kind of have the sun heat and warm the soil that way. And then if next week is your safe time that you feel that you can plant, you could just remove the plastic and the seeds will be able to emerge quite easily. Now, this may be something we may need to do here in about 4 or 5 days based on what the nighttime temperatures will give us. We're going to go ahead and get these planted in the ground, and more weeds to pull out, so we can get a jump start on. Now, we are in a partial shade area here when summer hits. For right now, because the tree has no leaves on it, this will give us sunlight for most of half to 3/4 of a day. So that's not an issue. Now, another thing, you don't want to work a lot of compost or rotted manure into your soil if you're going to plant peas. They don't like a lot of nitrogen. Peas as well as green beans or beans in general are legumes, which means they take nitrogen, which is 78% in the atmosphere, and convert it into nitrogen and fix it into their roots, and they create the nitrogen that is needed for the plant to grow. So by incorporating a lot of nitrogen into the soil, you're counteracting that nature's working path there with the peas or the beans, just to allow the soil to, you might want to add a little bone meal to help stimulate root development, but that would be about the extent of fertilizer you would want to add for your peas. You can also trellis your peas, and it's best and recommended to trellis them in any type of device that they are able to grow up on. We're going to plant these here, and then we're going to install, be as simple as fence posts with rope on them to allow them to grab onto something. So I'm just going to plant them real easy, very simple. You can pre-soak your peas if you want to. Go about a ½ inch deep. You can pre-soak them in water, authentic Haveram Mupu tea if you choose to do so, and for about 2 or 3 hours prior to planting. So it's just very easy. You'll put them in the ground, ½ inch deep, 2 inches apart, and you got your peas planted. Thanks for watching. Join us again next time for more organic gardening and food preserving. I'm Joy Barrett, and this has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.